So let me show you the numbers that prove that Biden absolutely would not even been close to winning the election. In fact, he probably would have done a lot worse than even Kamala Harris, which sounds kind of crazy, but I'll show you firsthand. To take a trip down memory lane, this was the election day. This was the final polling aggregate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. That's what you're seeing right now. And you see that Harris was up by about 1.2%. In the end, Donald Trump won by about 1.8%, give or take. And so in the end, Donald Trump, basically they were biased towards Democrats by about 3% in the polls. So let's just assume for a second, and by the way, looking at 2020 and 2016, it wouldn't be crazy to just assume that they're usually off by at least 3% in the polls, if not more. Taking that, this is what the numbers looked like for Joe Biden before the debate, totally before the debate. So let's say that they just never even did the debate. Trump was up by average of 5%, as you can see. These are the 4 last polls right before the debate. That's where Donald Trump was. Again, if they're off by 3%, you're talking about an 8% win for Donald Trump, which is massive. I mean, you want to talk about electoral landslide? That's New Hampshire, just thinking off the top of my head. New Hampshire goes towards Trump. New Jersey towards Trump. Virginia towards Trump. Minnesota, I believe, towards Trump. So many electoral votes would have gone for Trump. And then, of course, the popular vote would have looked insane. Now, the debate did happen, and Joe Biden, what he's claiming here is that even with the debate, he still would have won. So let's look at the numbers post-debate. You can see right here, if it pulls up, there we go, that after the debate, and this is New York Times Siena, which it tends to be a little bit more accurate. All 4 of these polls, as you can see, are from the New York Times Siena College poll. Trump is up more of an average of 7%. So again, that brings you up to about 10% of a lead if we're looking at that 3% bias towards Democrats. But even if you don't believe in that 3% bias, which you really should, but if you don't, whatever, you're still looking at a 7% lead for Donald Trump, which is an electoral landslide. So essentially Biden suffers from this disease. So that's the question, right? It's like, how could Biden even believe this? I mean, he sees the polling. And what it is that Biden suffers from the disease that all politicians suffer from. They're all born, I don't know what it is, but they're born with this hubris that they cannot possibly lose and that they will win every hypothetical matchup in their heads. It's every politician. If you've ever met a politician, this is how it goes. It's why you see people, for instance, like Jeb Bush in 2016 running for president, and then they get less than and he's not the only one, but he's just the one that came to my mind. And he gets less than 1% of the primary vote, not even the American vote, but the primary vote. The average person I don't think would have that level of pride. I mean, me, for instance, if I run for president, who's going to vote for me? Nobody. No one is. I'm not crazy. I'm not a crazy person. How did Jeb Bush, for instance, not look at himself and be like, yeah, I'm not going to win. Basically, people know my last name and that's about it. That's what he had going for him. The hubris is insane. The average person just doesn't have it. Only politicians have that kind of pride. And so Biden is nothing new. He thinks he would have won. And the reason why is because every single Democrat also thought that they would have won in a head-to-head matchup against Donald Trump after Kamala lost. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you haven't already, go down below, like the video, subscribe to my channel, and watch another video.